Hey! So today we'll be watching The Apothecary Diaries, episode 1. And I don't really know much about this anime series, cause I didn't want to see any trailers or anything, I just wanted to be more or less surprised. And just from a very short teaser, I was just so impressed by the animation style, I was like, I have to watch this anime series. And all I really know about it is the fact that it's based around, I believe, an ancient Asian country. And why I always love watching those, even though depending on the era, I sometimes get confused if they're all just very similarly. But it's not like that's the case in this one. And I want to say it's maybe an isekai, but I'm not sure yet because I don't know much about it. And all I really know is that I think there's a love interest with long hair. And of course, as usual, if I like this series, I might buy the manga and light novel series. Now, having said all that, on to the episode. So she works there? Oh. She tests it on herself? Aw, that's nice, they all know her name. I take it she's gonna be kidnapped, based on the clip we saw earlier. Why is that me in every game? She's not overly concerned about it. Are they taking her to the palace or what? This reminds me so much of that anime series. From the courtesans being nice to her to this, really. Well, not really this, but... Whoa. Wow. Born on the same day or what? She just stayed there all this time? Did her dad maybe do it or what? Oh wow. Oh yeah, castration. Shit, 2,000 concubines? Wow. Oh, Wisteria 9. Oh, isn't that better in a sense? I mean, we don't have to deal with all the drama that comes with getting the Emperor's affection. Yeah. In 2 years? Could they maybe be like a prince or something? The eunuch? Or it just could be a regular eunuch who just happens to be handsome. Alright then. Is the kid dying? Oh wow. I take it maybe that's the Emperor? Well, they're both pretty. I'd say it's each other. Maybe they poison each other's babies. Something in the food or the drinks, maybe? Oh yeah, she's an apothecary. She would know how to fix it, wouldn't she? Yeah, not like they would listen to you anyways. She's too low ranking for them to listen to her. Oh, a beating? Oh. That has to be the prince. Maybe the doctor's the one poisoning them. Mm-hmm. Did he notice her just from passing? That's pretty interesting. Or maybe he's met her before. Oh, she threw it out. So that's why the prince wasn't saved. Oh, is that what he heard? So he knew she could write. Yeah, he's pretty perceptive. He caught on quick. I love that. It is him. Is it him? Oh. How do you not whisper her? I like her voice. It's different than others. It's not super squeaky high. Oh. Oh, that also makes her stand out. She sold her own clothes when they got ripped. Of course, she wouldn't be affected by him. Woman? I guess he does kind of look like a woman. But right? He is a beautiful man. Mm-hmm. Oh my god, he wrote that! Of course, she'd be the one who'd be able to read it. Mm-hmm. I love that too. That's an interesting way to do things. That is true. Oh my god. Yeah, the insubordination. I agree. Yeah, you were speaking aloud when you were thinking about the plan. Oh, that's why his skirt was ripped. I love how smart he is. Right? I'm impressed. Well, they wouldn't listen to her if they knew it was like a serving girl who knew that. They would even suspect her if she did.
事件の真相に気づい原因はおしろいだ育った花町で使っている妓女は多くいました。そしてほとんどがおしろいを天秤にかけ、私は薬屋でしたので。
What is an apothecary? Just somebody who studies plants? Maybe inspect that lady?
体調が悪かったようなので、無知は罪ですね。子供の口に入るものを。
私も同様です。もっと早くに気づいても。
Oh, so she did know, but she didn't believe her probably.
何を言って逆効果だったみたいです。それで私は何をすれば。では今日から私の辞書をやってもらいます。
Oh wow! She's not gonna be happy with that.
が抑えられない。
Mau Mau.
それは好奇心の正義感。してマオマオは帝の寵愛となったのだった。まあいわゆる出世。
Oh shit, they're dropping dead. Alright, so I like this anime series so far. This first episode is really something. I really enjoyed the fact that the male lead, I'm presuming the eunuch is the male lead, was so refreshingly smart. He figured things out super quickly. The fact that she was talking to herself about writing, he caught right on. Now when I first saw that scene, I thought maybe he was just taken in by her looks or something. But turns out he heard her say, I wish I could find something I could write with. And he knew that was strange because of the way she was dressed. Nobody there could really read, much less write. So of course that in itself was something odd. And then knowing that one of the concubines got a note saying to beware of the face powder, he put it together so quickly. And not just that, really. The fact that they noticed the small details. Like the fact that she had sewn her skirt in. The fact that he literally wrote on a piece of paper, "You with freckles, stay here," knowing that she'd be the only one who could read it. And would of course react to it, that already confirmed what he thought. She was the one behind the help. Now as to why she didn't go directly to anybody to tell them how she could help was, I think, really for the most obvious reason is the fact that if she knew so much about poisons, that would raise alarms. The fact that she was just there 3 months and the babies were only a few months old, and coincidentally a little bit after she got there, the baby started getting sick and she just so happened to know about poisons and how to fix them, of course the evidence would fall to her. Like how suspicious would it look that the babies were fine and then 3 months later, they're sick. And who just so happened to get in 3 months before? One of the new rear palace workers. The only one that can read and write, and, suspiciously enough, who knows a lot about poison and how to fix it. And of course, again, like that, she would of course be the main suspect as to what's happening with the children. And so it was really smart of her to not go directly to anybody, because also just besides that point, who would believe her, really? Who would believe this low-ranking girl would know what's going on with the royal children when the royal physician himself doesn't even know? And again, it's really refreshing the fact that the eunuch, he just caught on to things so quickly. And when she was like, well, he caught on quickly. Like, he didn't leave anything to chance. He was like, so I'm guessing you used your skirt because this fabric is only used by women who work in the rear palace. Like, pretty much those things he noticed. And he brought it on quickly and I was like, damn, he noticed that. And he was right. There was really no doubt on his face. He knew he was right. I love that eunuch, man. Which I'm almost pretty sure is either, most likely considering what we've seen, I think he's not the emperor. I think the emperor is probably much older. I'm assuming maybe he's the prince. That's usually how the cliche works, is the fact that a royal member of the family is pretending to be somebody of lower rank. Just to be able to walk around freely. But also, there's a chance that he could just be a very handsome eunuch. The female lead, Mau Mau, is also very refreshing. And the fact that, first of all, her voice. She sounds pretty much normal. And also pretty deadpan or serious at the very least. She just wants a normal and laid back life. Her voice isn't grating like a lot of female leads are, because a lot of female leads usually have like high-pitched, squeaky voices, and hers is much lower, and much more of like a nonchalant tone. Very similar, I guess, to like Shikamaru. And the fact that she didn't seemingly care to be kidnapped. Like, her only big concern was like, oh man, my dad's gonna be worried. But she didn't seem overly concerned at all, like, who isn't panicking when they're kidnapped? Unless it's like a normal occurrence for her. Or at the very least, what I'm assuming is maybe, since we didn't really see that much, I don't know if maybe she was poor or not, but maybe her own father gave her up to the palace so he can get paid. Because the fact that they took her directly to the rear palace, I just find that strange. And also, are a lot of those women in there just kidnapped to work there? Because it just seems to be the case. Because the fact that they just took her there immediately, I'm like, is that how they get all the girls? But I mean, a majority of them do seem pretty happy to be there, at the very least fine, which, yeah, the fact that they're there, they just have to make do with the fact that they just can't leave. They don't really have a choice, it seems. Although now I think about it, apparently she can leave after 2 years, so at the very least, the majority of them seem to be at the very least in good spirits, knowing that hopefully in a few years, they'll be able to get out. And it also seems that the fact that she wants to live a very peaceful life isn't going to happen for her because, of course, with her wanting to help out and save the lives of not just the children but also of others because of the poisonous face powder, she inadvertently brought so much attention to herself that she's now a concubine's lady in waiting. So I'm interested to see if she changes at all, being a lady in waiting or not, and also how her relationship with the eunuch progresses. Now, onto the comparisons. In actuality, I think I only have about 2 comparisons that I can think of right now. One was probably one of the most glaring ones, really, it reminds me of the manga anime series called The Story of Sayun Koku. And it's basically about a young girl named Shure. Candy! Okay, so I don't know if that was her stomach or if she just farted on camera. Not me though, it's my dog, Candy. Nudie, do you have the toots? Well, now that funny little distraction aside, for what I remember from the manga and anime series, she's from a very prominent and powerful family. Although her and her father specifically have fallen on hard times, even though her father, I believe, is the head of the family, I believe he gave up that right to be with her mother. And so her living situation isn't the best. It's not terrible, but her house is pretty dilapidated and in need of repairs, and she's always trying to work somewhere to get money. So when the opportunity comes around where she's offered money in exchange to being the emperor's concubine, she of course begrudgingly accepts. But besides her going to the palace itself, and also I believe being based in China like this one, she also used to hang out in the red light district. And she was very friendly and very well known with the courtesans there. And specifically one in particular, who really took on a big sister role with her, and taught her about makeup and the power that women themselves hold. So that's one of the reasons why it reminded me of it. Also the fact that she didn't really want to have such an interesting lifestyle. But circumstances being what they were, she kind of had to. And then to add more to it, she ends up becoming the empress. But although the difference is, she didn't get with the emperor right away because she met him when she first thought he was just somebody else in the palace. She didn't know he was the emperor. And when she found out, she was very surprised. But they end up getting closer together and a relationship soon forms. But she forgoes being in a relationship with him for a time because really what she wants to do is she wants to work. And she knows that if she decides to be in a relationship with the emperor, she won't be able to do what she wants. She'll be tied to the palace forever. And so she really wants to at least work for a few years outside by herself, independently, before she decides to settle down with the emperor. And if and only if they still want to be together after that. The second anime series it reminded me of was pretty much based around the ending and the preview for the next one. It's the fact that this one also looks very formulaic, considering the fact that Mao Mao is an apothecary. So pretty much she's going to be curing and solving mysteries surrounding suspicious deaths, or at the very least suspicions of poison and such. So pretty much every episode it's going to have some sort of illness that she might be able to figure out the cure for, or at the very least help stop it from spreading. And based on that, it really reminded me of the light novel anime series, The Raven of the Inner Palace. Because similar to that, it's based around this woman who's known as the Raven Consort. Although unlike Mao Mao, she's essentially stuck in the palace. The Raven Consort can never leave. And the fact that she is the Raven Consort, she is of course able to use powers that most other people wouldn't be able to use. And pretty much every episode, she had to deal with any supernatural events that occurred, and she would either have to help solve them or find a way to fix them. And The Raven of the Inner Palace is also based in China. Overall, I really liked the first episode so far. Very colorful anime series. I love Mao Mao. I love her name. It's fun to say. It really rolls off the tongue easily. I really love the eunuch. Although I feel like now I've seen a lot of long-haired male characters so far. But he still ranks pretty high looks-wise. And it looks like he takes a particular interest in Mao Mao. In the next episode, he seems particularly very close to her. And I'm just like, okay. But the fact that she isn't really interested in him at the very least right now, she's more interested in just, working with what she knows and just living an easy life. I was like, wow, this girl's also my favorite character, among the bunch of other anime characters that I've seen. And also, I guess, considering the fact that she just wants a leisure, relaxing life where she doesn't have to do too much, she in a way could also remind one of 2 characters. One being Umaro-chan from the manga anime series Himoto Umaro-chan. Since Umaro pretty much just wants to be lazy and not really do much, she just prefers to live a very relaxing life. And also Gabriel from Gabriel Dropout, which is a manga anime series based around this angel who comes down from heaven to see how the humans live. But once she gets here, she just ends up loving it, and she ends up taking on probably the worst qualities that one could get, although pretty much is my lifestyle really, is basically she's just super lazy. She just wants to stay at home, eat a bunch of junk food, play games, just be lazy all around. She doesn't want to do much. She really takes the whole sloth and gluttony sin to the next level, which is really funny considering the fact that she's an angel, and so she's pretty much a fallen angel. That's a really fun concept, really. And also, in a way, sort of similar to Mao Mao. Also, lately, when it comes to me watching anime series, I try to theme my dogs based on what animes I'm watching. And since this one's based in ancient China, I decided to have my oldest dog here. Just the fact that she's pretty ancient herself, so it kind of fits. And I think she's also the most quiet out of all my dogs. Well, I don't know. No, yeah, she is my most quiet dog. I think Tonya moves around a lot. And the beagles, she just licks me a lot, really. And Candy's kind of just like there. There's really not really much going on here. There's not really much going on with this dog. She's pretty calm, pretty quiet. She can only see with one eye, so. Okay, Nudie. And also the shirt I'm wearing. I don't know if you guys can see it or not. I'll have a picture on the screen. Because I was looking for a shirt to wear, particularly one that I hadn't worn before. And I remember that I recently bought this sweatshirt like 2 weeks ago. And since it depicts Looney Tunes characters dressed up as the Flintstone characters, I figured that's very fitting considering the fact that this anime series, of course, again, is based in ancient times. And the Flintstones are pretty ancient. That's also why I chose a specific sweatshirt. I think it's already a given, but I really hope that the eunuch is the teasing type, because I really like those because they're pretty funny. Especially when the female character isn't really reciprocating at first. She's more annoyed than anything, and then later on she ends up falling for him, and it just becomes really fun to watch. So also in that sort of dynamic, it really mentioned the relationship between the Emperor and the Raven Consort.
池のほとりでそなたを見たとき、女神とはこういうものかと思ったぞ。あれほど美しいもの。
Oh, and of course, I just have to plug her in almost all the time. But the fact that she showed some sort of insubordination to a superior, because she already knew at that point that he was the one in charge of the rear palace. The fact that he touched her shoulder and she pushed his hand away. Like, that kind of insubordination, that really could get one in trouble, especially back in those times. But just seeing her just act so nonchalantly with somebody of higher ranking, it of course really reminded me of Sarafi from the manga and anime series Sacrificial Princess and the King of Beasts. Because she of course didn't care that she was right in front of the Beast King of the Beast Kingdom. She just acted normally and really in a way that not only was she not afraid of him, she commented on how squishy his paws were. That could also have gotten her killed! Or at the very least reprimanded by hitting or something. So I'm like, damn, like, it's really refreshing to see that they just don't care that these higher ranking males are around. They're just gonna act the way they always do. Oh, before I forget, I also have this box. I saw this a few weeks ago at Dollar Tree. And immediately when I saw it, I was like, oh, this would go great as a background for the Apothecary Diaries. Because it just says, the complete Apothecary Anthology. It's empty, honestly. But now I just look at the cover. I think it is just pretty much, maybe it's just like another word for doctor or something. Or at the very least, somebody who's very versed with potions, poisons, elixirs, and tonics. Maybe it's more like a naturalistic type of doctor, very similar to like the indigenous ones, where instead of using like modern medicines, which is like a bunch of like drugs, they take effect quickly, but they're not really good for you. And instead of apothecaries, they just use natural herbs and plants. They ground them up and they just give them to you. That would make sense then, what apothecary is. And also, I'm not even sure if I'm saying that correctly. I'm hoping I'm saying it correctly. I've never really heard that word be used, but I think I'm saying it right. I hope so at the very least. Now, having said all that, we can't wait to see what happens in the next episode.